All right, so we are going to start the next lecture, which is privacy. I'm going to cover some parts of this a little quicker than others. Okay, privacy is the power to control truths about you and the people know about you and what you know about other people. Okay, is there such thing as privacy?
No.
I really would say no at this point. Okay, it says the making of the Constitution sought to protect Americans' beliefs, their thoughts, their emotions, their heck with Facebook. All this is public now. Okay. All right, so really it's not there much anymore. Invasion of privacy is intrusion upon selection, appropriation of name or likeness, publicity given to private. Again, you think of what's happening today.
Everybody posting,
Everything
we have a whole family. Or
exactly, I know.
For a week.
Publicly placing persons in false light, that could happen. There was a blogger that blogged all about food and healthy food eating. I don't know if y'all saw this news article, but she had cancer. So she started on this very healthy diet, totally cured herself of cancer. Totally gone. Found out the entire thing was fake. She never ever had cancer once. Yet she got all this money donated to her, so now there's a big scamming on her. So really you don't know what you're reading anymore. The Constitution specifically does not mention it. The Fourth Amendment, which I don't know if any of these are valid anymore after Obama, but this is usually applied when discussing government intrusion. Okay. Privacy, public records, medical records, FERPA, not FERPA. We have FERPA here. HIPAA, we're going to see that in a minute, but HIPAA is real big on medical records. My youngest son, Micah, who's like 26 now, when he turned 18, he was actually living out in Arizona, and I remember he got
access to his stuff.
Well, he got sick and he called me and goes, Dad, I need to see the doctor. And I got TRICARE. So not a problem, you can see the doctor. So I called TRICARE and said, hey, my son's sick. Needs to see the doctor. I'm like, whoa, he just turned 18. We can't talk to you. I'm like, he's sick. I'm like, sorry. So I called my son. I said, Mike, I can't. He's like, Dad, please. I can't. I can no longer help you at all. So that was a big eye-opener for him. My stepdaughter's 17 next month. Acts like a 12-year-old. Do you really think in a year she's going to be able to take care of herself? No, it's not going to happen. Okay? That's okay. She'll never listen to this.
Ever.
Okay. But public records, medical records, public records are everywhere now. We can see everything from court records to, no one's in pen testing in here, are they? Anyone taking it next semester? Wait till you see the stalking exercise you got to do. It's all on me, by the way. All this stuff you got to find out about me, it's every.
When I was doing the phone assignment for you for forensics.
Right. Oh.
Well, is it the same one when you were reading through text messages of his daughter's phone? It was very...
I really hope she doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, she won't. And it's kind of funny because she's got this boyfriend now. This is not on this phone you all saw. But she's the one, she was calling him. 2 weeks ago was at my house and she was calling him. Called him 40 times. I'm like, seriously?
That's stalker.
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, his phone was on silent. No. No one's phone's on silent that long. And she sent a message, I just called you 38 times. I'm going to continue to call until you pick up this damn phone. It's like, oh, shit. That's stalkerish. But
He can actually, take all that and get her, she can get in big legal trouble.
But big trouble.
It's...
Hey, stop doing that.
Okay. All right.
Bad.
So, some stuff says, truths that you have kept, books you read. Does everyone know what books you read?
Yes.
Well, now they do online. I just read such and such a book. But does anyone have a clue what book I was reading today in the gym? No, because I haven't told anybody. So that's normally something you keep private. What you say in private letters or email. You would hope that stays private, but does it nowadays? It does if you're Hillary Clinton. You just delete the email system. Okay? All right. And there's also trespassing laws. I got a question about that. So we all know that with wireless networking, even if I have no web key or WPA or anything on my network, if you get in and use my network, it's against the law. Do y'all agree with that? It is. It's trespassing. It's just like in my house, leaving the front door unlocked does not mean you can come in my house.
Yeah, but you can get in trouble if you don't have a lock and I download from stuff while I'm on.
Right. If you connect to me and are downloading illegal stuff, right, I could get in trouble for not doing my best.
Yeah, for not locking.
But if you came in and used my network, even though it was unsecure, without my permission, it's really trespassing. So if I left my computer in my office unlocked one day, and Cameron went in and did something on there, Would that be against the law? Actually, it would be. Kind of freaky this weekend. Me and Virginia are sitting there watching a TV show on Friday evening. All of a sudden, over my camera, I hear, "Hey, Ken, you forgot to lock your computer." Yeah, Virginia was pissed. She was very pissed. What it was, I remotely got into my computer, and it was a new version of the app, and it wasn't set to automatically lock my computer when I get out of the remote access. So Roy and Cameron just went into my computer, brought up my camera. So that was a very big invasion of privacy. So if you think about it, I actually could prosecute, and I actually happen to have a recording of them doing that. So when he takes this class someday, he'll probably realize that he shouldn't have done that. Okay. All right, technology. Okay. Electronic purchasing records. You know what's happening to those nowadays? They get sold big time, really big time. Because you buy something, you get next store you go to, they already seem to know what you want. I kind of like that feature,
You can use it to help you.
but it's kind of freaky sometimes. And I'll tell you what, one thing you can do, go online to a website like you're going to buy something, put it in your cart, and leave. Wait a day or two. It happens.
Progressive's contacted me 3
And
times,
then it's like,
dropping the price.
hey, how about we
Already got
can
guys
get you a better deal?
Yeah,
Give
that's
it
not
for
good enough.
30% off.
There you go. All right, surveillance technologies, obviously big time there. Identification technologies changing, okay? Public records on it, there's so much that's changing in there, okay? And the whole aggregation of data, it's real big now. It's real big.
Even the bases are doing it.
Everything's doing it. Okay, what you buy, read, view, eat. Hell, restaurants. You know, I was reading an article about a restaurant, and I think it was in New York. Real big fancy restaurant, but all of a sudden, they're losing money. And they're like, why are we losing money? I mean, still great service, everything's great. Then you start looking, they're serving less people. And they actually hired a company to review tapes from 10 years ago, to review tapes from now, and compare them to see why were we making more money 10 years ago. What they found out was people are coming into the restaurant, sitting down with their cell phones, playing on their phones. So the waitress drops off the menu. They're still playing on their phones. Then the waitress comes back 5 minutes later. Oh, I've been on my phone, haven't had a chance to look at the menu yet. So they're being distracted by their phone. Then once the food gets here, now we got to take the 15 selfies about eating our whatever, our food, fancy restaurant. You know what I'm talking about, that kind of stuff. Then posting it online. Oh, look where I'm at. And they found out that cell phones are making them lose money because the people are not focused on, hey, here's the menu. What do we want to order? Let's eat and leave. Now they're playing on their phones. So
Now, would it be illegal for them to put like a shortwave?
actually, it would be illegal to block it. Yes, it would be.
Hotels have tried that.
Yes, it is illegal to block cellular data. They could. There's some restaurants now, they give you a discount if you put your phones in a basket.
Oh, wow.
It's like 10% discount.
Did you see Chili's has those tablets right at the thing? Like,
Yes.
it's really awkward because I never know what I'm using a waiter for anymore.
Well,
It's like,
yeah, but that what he's talking about at Chili's, there's this little kiosk, basically they call it, where you can reorder drinks. I like you can pay your bill on there.
Yes.
Do not hit the play games button. There's no, would you like to do this now? No, you start paying at that point. Because we went out to lunch and Roy hit that button, was expecting, here's what it's going to cost. No, it was already charged. To the bill, and then we actually called the person over, and they're like, no, you bought that. We're like, no, trust me, we didn't use it at all, so they got it credited. But how much money are they making off of that? Probably a
Imagine just a
ton.
little kid at the table at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, I'm bored. Here, play a stupid game. It's like $10, but it's unlimited. What am I going to be there, an hour?
Yeah.
$10 an hour to play games is stupid. Okay, how about, so data shared amongst credit agencies. You know, my identity obviously got stolen recently. And they actually told me, don't bother calling all the credit agencies, I'm sorry. Just call one. Because they synchronize between them. It's like, okay. So that proves that second bullet there. Name, address, preferences sold to advertisers. I get stuff in the mail all the time. You know, I used to run a business. So I get stuff for that. You know, all this technology stuff just because of the type of business I used to own. Because you start a business, you actually have to say what kind of business it is. So, okay, even medical data, we're not much, it's protected more now with HIPAA,
Yep.
but still not totally. Still not. Okay. Yeah, one thing that gets me is I'm over 50 now. So I get AARP. Oh my God, do I get it? Over and over. They sure want me to sign up for that damn thing.
Have you started getting the hover around things in the mail yet?
Hover around?
Yeah, when my dad turned 50, he started getting in the mail pamphlets for hover around and.
Oh, I have seen them for the little scooters. Yeah, that's kind of what you're talking about. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I get all kinds of weird crap in the mail now.
It's because you're aging and they
Yeah.
want to help you get around.
Crap. Okay. Now, look at the bottom one. European, they're a lot more strict. Actually, Europeans is ahead of us in a lot of things. And you can always see it in the news about Apple or Google or someone's having an issue. China's a big deal. Getting Google available in China is a really big deal there. Okay.
Google spread.
Yeah. Okay. Email messages often circulated without permission. You know how a lot of people forward messages? And a lot of times they'll put quotes on there. Did you know those are actually copywritten automatically? So if I said something in an email and you went and used it later in something, I could actually sue you because I said it first. It's kind of crazy the way it works. Okay,
So people aren't going to be able to talk in the future.
it's pretty much it.
What's that?
The reason is because we all sue each other about everything now.
What's that? That's not. You put something into your Dropbox and they check it to see how much of it's original.
Plagiarism checking, yes. Originality checking, yes.
The only issue is nowadays there's so much. Every time a new paper goes in there, it is now checked against that paper.
Right.
And no matter what, it seems like you're at least 70%.
Okay, you know, I graded Java this morning. 1 week's worth of Java assignments from an online Java class. 66% of them turned in the same program.
Really? Dude,
That was today.
There's no way if you're writing your own code that yours looks anything like anyone else's.
66% of my
Everyone has
students.
their own voice.
I just did it this morning.
You mean they-
And the funny thing was, this was for another school, I get paid by the number of students. And initially I start telling students, oh, you're cheated, you get a 0 on this assignment, they'd all drop. So I went from 25 to 12 students. What do you think they did to my paycheck?
Cut it in half.
went from
So
12
guess what I did this semester? Oh, great job, great job, great job. Guess what I'm doing 2 weeks from now? Submitting
yeah,
every
great
one of
job.
them in for an academic letter of dishonesty.
Okay, I thought you were just gonna tell them great job the whole time. I'm like, you must work for Phoenix.
Oh, no, I don't say great job. I tell them what's right and wrong. But, you know, like in Java, if you know anything about Java, if you copy it off the web, it's left justified.
Yeah.
So many people, the moment I see your code, I'm like, awesome job, but why is your code left justified? Why isn't there comments? So I tell them what's right and wrong with it. But I don't tell them that I found it online.
I've never met anyone who don't put their own comments while coding.
Oh,
If you don't leave your own comments, when you come back to it halfway done the program, you're
so
just
many
like,
people don't.
Like, what
So-
do they do?
But a lot of people, you know, like I said, this week alone, 66% of the people, but I actually called the school first and told them, hey, this is what's going on. And I think I'm the only one, no one else complains about this. I'm probably the only one who checks for it. And,
Teacher, maybe.
yeah, but so when, basically they're like, okay. But they've actually contacted the people in charge of cheating on campus, and they're willing to just accept a big old list of everybody who cheated and what they did and just take it from them. I'm like, sweet. So I don't have to fill out all the paperwork. So, but it's tough. And with the internet now, you know, privacy of everything, copyright and everything, you know. I had a student who took a class a couple years ago, and he posted on a website, I believe in the fair freedom sharing of homework, and posted all the stuff online. Other students were taking it and turning it in. I contacted him, and I said, you know, you are a graduate of this school. You are, you know, basically in collusion for copyright, you know, or plagiarism. And he's like, I never thought about it. He goes, people are actually turning it in. I'm like, oh, yeah. People do it all. That's why we have an online forum where you can ask for questions. I always tell people, don't post your entire code on there because people just copy the shit. It happens. I'm not saying any of you would. But if 66% of my class this week alone did, you know, it happens all the time. So that's why, hence your last assignment, you all had a different number. So I can check if you turn in the wrong one. Now, if you come up with some bogus number I didn't use, well, you're just an idiot. You just saw it and just guessed. But,
2004.
443.
or if you didn't do it, you just get a 0. Well, at least it's better than cheat. You know, I always tell students it's better to, you know, not cheat and get a 0 or something than cheat. Because when at the end of the semester, when I go to look, hey, if I'm going to give you a curve or not, if your name's in that been cheating every week file, no, you don't get a curve. Sorry. So private message group discussions are often made public. Happens a lot. People get embarrassed. Lawsuits, all kinds of stuff happening there. Browser chatter, it's on the test. Browser chatter is stuff just by surfing the web. A prime example, didn't I show you last week when I went to Fandango? Or was that in the other class? Let me show you. In case I didn't show this class, I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay.
Everyone knows my browser chatter. I'm not.
All right, I'm going to Fandango. If you never use Fandango, I'm going to get movie tickets.
Okay.
This is Fandango, okay? It's loading slow, but a lot of crap on here. Do y'all agree?
For theater tickets too?
Yes. But what if I go to m.fandango?
Oh, is it just the,
Oh yeah, the mobile version.
I was thinking the same.
Come on. So much better. Because I don't have all that crap on here now. But a lot of systems, they detect your phone. You know, I have a sprinkler system at home. Here, I'll show you. Hold on.
that's recording now.
It's recording. You just couldn't see the password. You can actually see my house and my sprinkler system.
Turn on the
Oh, wow.
sprinklers and turn the dog.
Can you actually turn them on from here?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So you could chase the dog around the yard.
Zone 12, I just turned it on. Dogs should be hiding under this porch right here. Come on. It's going to take a minute because there it is. Zone 12's on. And Zone 12 is actually, it goes like this. It goes, well, shit.
Oh,
It actually moves this way. It's kind of like a line. I just put the picture kind of where it is. But yeah, it's watering Zone 12 right now. The dogs are probably like, whoa, shit, what's happening?
I mean, it's raining too. So
Why is this
your wife's
Okay.
like,
But my point is, if I view this from my phone, I don't see any of this.
Okay.
I see this left side only. It's kind of, well, I mean, I see menus, but I can't see the picture. So, you know, really browser chatter, you know, it's kind of, that's only going to water for a
Yeah,
minute.
whenever I'm on my Kindle, I always have the
In
quick
one of
desktop
his
version.
Right.
another one of his classes gives you his address exactly where it is.
Oh, yeah. And I'll show you right
You ever
now.
had a student just sit out there and turn on your spell? That only be slightly creepy.
Sit outside, turn on all.
I spelled Choctaw wrong. Okay, here's my house. If I want to go to, come on, finish loading. Well,
See, he has no fear. But then again, he's got like 15 cameras and like half of them actually work.
exactly. I actually was counting. I think I have 16 cameras, 12 of them are working right now.
Somebody already stole his identity. Really, what's?
But it was funny because if you looked at this about 6 months ago,
It was a different.
I was out here weed eating. I was right here when the Google car drove by.
Yes.
And you could actually, there's a way on here somewhere to see.
Where they're going to be going? Because that'd be awesome.
Yeah, you can trace the Google card.
Yeah, there's a way on here where you could see. Oh wait, no, that side. Somewhere you can see the history, and you actually see me out there weeding right around the middle, like. "Rrrr." Yeah. So, all right, but yeah, it's so browser chatter is, you know, it used to be. I don't see it much anymore. They would say, "Oh, you need to install this app because your IP address is public." It has to be public. Okay, to get on the internet, you must have a public address. It's kind of like to live in a house, you have to have a street address. Okay, so IP address, domain name, organization, where you came from. That's actually very important when it comes to advertising. Which page sent you here? So, you know, referring page, what OS you're running. When I used to work at an ISP and used to make web pages, we would always develop toward the most popular browsers, which at the time were IE and Firefox, or Netscape, I think, years ago. But yeah, you develop toward what's popular. Okay, what information is requested, what's being searched, cookies. There's a lot of information. They can always get end servers. This, you know, all these people might use this information, and it's very handy. Advertising. That's how Google. You know, if I go to Google, Google's free. Facebook is free. But how are they making money? From advertising. Okay, get back in here. All right. So what's in a weblog? Again, the same type of stuff. When I went to this web page, there's actually quite a bit of data, and weblogs vary based on when they're initially installed. But there's also radius logs. That's when you dial into, I mean, no one uses dial-in anymore. But if you did, that's where you see a lot of that. But that is also where VPNs still store their stuff. Mail logs. My mail server, when I ran it years ago, I had minimal logging turned on. And a text file, just of my mail log, was about 500 megs per day. Strictly a text in one day with minimal logging turned on. It's crazy the amount of stuff in there. Okay, DNS logs the same day, who's requesting it, what information is being sent out, that kind of stuff. Cookies are very handy. There's a test question on these. Says, use like a staple to attach multiple parts of a form together. Basically, with a website, it helps you go from one page to another. Think of it similar to like Amazon. Hey, you bought this, here's what you bought last time. That kind of stuff. Not totally, but there's some sites that require cookies to make them work. It says make them understand. Didn't I show the FedEx one in here? Maybe that was in the other class. I'm going to go to FedEx.com real quick. I don't think I've been to it in this room. Okay, I've never been to FedEx in this room. So the first thing it says, hey, where are you coming from? So I'm going to say United States. Then now I instantly go to track a package. Okay, closed it out. I'm going to go back in. I'll go back to FedEx. And it remembers. So that cookie is allowing FedEx to remember my preferences for searching. I was at a resort in Mexico. It drove me bananas because every time I bring in my browser, I kept getting Google in Spanish. But that kind of stuff. It helps track where you're at, what you're doing, preferences, stuff like that. It says they can do unexpected things. They use to profile users, track activities. So what if they had a cookie out there that said, wow, can do it, goes to FedEx a lot. So they start sending me UPS advertising. It could happen.
Don't have a cookie.
They probably do, actually, that does that. Okay. All right, how they work. Basically, they store it, and then it's read later. Cookies can expire. You basically can read them back. They can actually be edited. You can have some cookies that actually edit other cookies. It says send me a request until a certain date. You can do it for this session only.
Never remember usernames.
Right. It could be username, could be passwords, could be all kinds of information. Okay. And here's what they look like here. This is from buy.com. Wow, this is actually the one I made a long time ago. Okay. It'll even tell you, I don't think they do it anymore, but back then they used to store your browsing history and cookies. But most of it's stored online now. Okay. We have replay, sending a cookie back to a site. We have session cookies valid for that session only, so on and so forth. There's the different protocols, some of the information you can get from it. Okay. Cookie jars are where they're stored, obviously, inside your browser. I want to get this done. Okay. You can't disable them. Guess what happens if you disable them?
A lot of settings you go to them, it's a real pain.
All kinds of crap stops working. It's like, damn it. Or it's like, the other day I was having an issue in my computer. I deleted all cookies, browsing data, and everything.
Oh, no.
You don't realize. I mean, I have LastPass, which is no big deal. But that's a lot of settings you don't realize. It's like, holy crap. Okay? But yeah, disabling can cause weird stuff. Okay. Web bugs. Web bugs is a tiny little graphic in the corner. Okay. When I was at University of Tulsa, they had this guy that was terrorizing via email. And they could never track this guy. And because his email was going through anonymizers and no one could ever figure out where he was at. The way they finally caught the guy was they included a web bug, a tiny, small, 1x1 pixel blank graphic in the corner of an email. So the moment he opened up the email, it made a direct connection to the web server where the graphic was stored at. And they were able to, you saw what was included in browser chatter, IP address, refer, and all this stuff. So you're able to track them via a web bug. It's kind of cool. It's used a lot just to see if people read your email. I mean, not if you see, yeah, right. If I'm sending you something, you might not be responding, but I can tell if you open it. So it's kind of a cool. And I can actually put, settings pretty much on that. So I know specifically that you opened it. So kind of a cool thing. Okay. There's the way it works. The height's 1x1. There's no border, and you don't even know it. You'll never know. And if it's so small, it's going to load instantly. You'll never know. Okay.
Could you left click on it and look at properties? But
You're not going to see it.
Yeah, if it's a 1x1.
Yeah, we're talking a pixel so
You can see with
small,
your eye.
you can't even see it.
Okay, so
If you could see, now you'll notice now a lot of our email now says download pictures. Remember that? So it's really not downloading them anymore, but years ago it automatically downloaded. So as long as you don't download pictures, you're okay. Because it has the connection to the picture, but it hasn't downloaded it yet. So in that instance, this would no longer work. But a few years ago, everything automatically downloaded pictures. That's why things are changing. Okay. What we can get is the IP address, the URL, all kinds of stuff. Okay. Advertising networks. Really, really big deal. These change by the minute. Google's probably the biggest one out there. You view a web page, you click a link, it keeps track of it, and actually I can show you this. I'm going to go to here. Okay. IP config. I'm going to do flush DNS. So I'm clearing my browser cache. Okay. Now if I do display DNS, you see I've never gone anywhere. Do you all agree?
Yes.
I'm going to bring up one website only.
No, go to Zumba.
I'm going to go to MSN.
Whatever.
Zombocom?
Yeah.
Okay, all I did was I brought up MSN. You see that?
Okay. Yep, that sounds about right.
Look at all that crap. Microsoft, MSN, MSDN, Microsoft, Chartbeat, GStatic,
Bing.
all this stuff. Look at all these different links off that one web page. Now let's just do it again. I'm going to close this out. Now I'm just going to look at just the Google page. Flush my DNS. Make sure it's blank. Okay. Now we're going to load just Google. There it is, just Google. We're still going to get some stuff. Well, okay, let me refresh Google. Refresh. There it is. Okay.
Yep, you got notifications.
There it is. So I got that. That's all I got, which isn't bad. Now let's search for something. Let's search for yellow car. Spell yellow wrong, but it's okay. It'll still work. Google makes everything work. So just by searching one thing with Google, I got quite a few. There's their Google statistics, but not as nearly as much as the whole Microsoft one. Wow, Facebook. Why is Facebook? Oh, there must be a link on here for Facebook. Yeah. But those are, it's just amazing the amount of stuff we get. And a lot of that for advertising networks, okay? Okay. What they know your email address, your full name, your mailing address, your phone number. They just know all health conditions. Okay. All of a sudden I start searching for Levitra, okay? I might start getting stuff in the mail about cholesterol. They say, wow, this guy's searching for Levitra, which is a cholesterol drug, which I was on for a while. What now?
That's a legal gray area with HIPAA and stuff like that.
But, they could start, really, they didn't search my medical records. All they're doing is looking at my browsing data. Okay? So kind of crazy. Okay. Mergers, double click and all them merged, and it's changed since then, so I'm not even going to talk about that. There's a lot of different devices that can be used to capture data. Anyone remember the QCat? It was a very short-lived device. It was actually, you could use it with Radio Shack. You could get it for free and scan the code inside your catalog and went right to the website for you. There's not many of them out there, but there's different ones coming out now. Okay. They do proximity now. If you turn on Bluetooth, they have proximity tuning in certain stores. You can get ads to automatically appear on your cell phone. So, kind of cool. How can we fix all this stuff? Policies is a biggie. Operational security, sealed programs, different officers. We're going to talk about some of these. Good provider. Make sure they're, a lot of time you're like, remember Net Zero when it was free? How the hell was it free? Excuse my language. How was it free? It was ads. So obviously if you're using a network that's free that relies on ads, you're going to get more ads. It's just a fact of life, okay? Pick good passwords. Don't write your passwords down. Clean it up, avoid spam, that kind of stuff, okay? ISPs can monitor all communications.
You don't get a lot of choice.
They don't do much with it, but they could, okay? All right, bad passwords, good passwords, you know what they are. Hopefully you know what a good password is at this point. Don't write them down. If you want something that can be typed quickly, okay? Because, a lot of times people watch over your shoulder, so be careful with that. So, all right, don't write them down. Get a password manager. LastPass is a good one. There's a bunch of them out there. I use LastPass. It stores everything. It's wonderful, okay? Never send it via email. Don't use the same password on multiple accounts. That's virtually impossible. I'm assuming all of us at one point or another has the same password on multiple accounts. It's a
Those
bad
are the crap
idea.
Passwords.
What now?
I said those are the crap passwords that you don't care if they kind of get stolen.
So there is a bunch of them. So,
Like Facebook.
all right. Rotate your passwords, change them. Said with LastPass, I use 30-character passwords on pretty much everything nowadays. Okay. Don't share them. Delete your cache. Tell Windows to delete it for you. Okay. Okay. Avoiding spam. Don't post your email address. Don't put this here. Don't put kdewey@rose.edu. Put kdewey@nospam.rose.edu. That way when they read it in off the website, they're not going to get my actual email address.
Oh wow.
Okay. Or just leave a space in it. Or put the word @ in parentheses. That way they won't detect it as an email.
You gotta do it like they do on Craigslist, like, hi, my name is 8.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
The
Yeah.
phone number is
Okay.
like hidden all the way through.
All right, problems. It says, policies let the consumer knows what they're doing, but again, do people follow all these things? You don't know or not. You're not sure. Okay. Policies are difficult to understand, hard to find. Are they updated? You know, Rose is the same as any organization. You know, they're not always great. Voluntary. You can actually go to some of these web pages or websites and find out information about it. Okay. Now let's talk about some of the different things out there. Okay, vice principle, there must be no personal data record-keeping system whose very existence is secret.
Batman.
Yeah, exactly, Batman, exactly. All right, let's continue on. Okay, there's other stuff, data quality, purpose specification. There's a lot of stuff that should be involved. Notice and disclosures, data security. Again, it's something that changes all the time. Okay, seal program. You see these on a lot of websites. You know, this is checked every day. McAfee's a real big one for that, which are good. It means it's actually scanned. But is it actually done? You don't know. Okay? There could be problems with them. If you're paying the money to McAfee for them to scan you each day, great. But I had a guy ask me to come out and do a penetration test on his network. I said, well, there's different kinds, internal and external. And, yes.
There's a lot of different. 'Cause
Well,
then you
but
got
still,
black
I mean, the
box
main two are, internal is where you come in with nothing, but mainly there's two of them. There's external and internal. But, what he's getting to is like, do I go in with any knowledge or some knowledge, all that kind of stuff. But really, it's, a lot of it's get what you pay for and you get experience and stuff like that. But when I ran, took care of the gyms, every year we had to have an external penetration test, which is really checking for major vulnerabilities on known ports. What did that do? Really, they tried to scan each port to see if there was a vulnerability on it. But did they really do much beyond that? No, they didn't. So it's kind of,
They just use like a vulnerability scanner.
yeah, it's like, Nessus, hell, it's like Nmap even. It's,
Put them in maps.
and the funny thing was they always came back with this HTTP vulnerability on this port that does, that's not even the right port. And every time I'll say, okay, first of all, your report's incorrect. That port is stealthed. It's not even used at all. They're like, oh, we're sorry, it's a flaw in our system. It's actually this other port. I'm like, well, that's stupid. Every time they tell me the wrong port. And we had to notify them that, you're scanning a video camera, is what they were doing, the digital video recorder, which is not connected to the credit card system. And the digital video recorder system, yeah, it did have it was a sequence number guessing attack vulnerability that was not going to be updated. The only fix was to replace the hardware, which they weren't going to do. So we're like, but it's not on the same network as the credit card system, not connected whatsoever. So it was kind of pulling teeth. But really, they were just doing real basic. Nessus or Nmap saying, wow, that port's there. So it kind of sucked. Okay. Chief Privacy Officer should be in charge of all this stuff. Do organizations all have these? No, I know we don't have one. So most places probably do not. Okay. Software tools, there's lots of it out there. There's anonymizers, there's filters, there's firewalls, there's scanners. There's anonymizers here. You can actually, it's like a proxy. You can go through it. But it gets to the point where how much, what you're doing is that critical that you keep it so no one knows about it. That's what really gets down to it, okay? Here we go. You send a request to this guy. He sends it on. It comes back to him, then he replies it to you. So really, no one knows what you're getting, okay? It's pretty much a proxy. They have the mixture, which does basically the same thing. Okay, we're not going to go into all these. Crowd. This is users join a crowd of other users that's kind of all linked together. Anonymous email, that's out there. If you've never seen it, you can use it. You can send an email to a person through an anonymizer, and it will strip all of your data off and send it at a random time. So kind of cool. So the person receiving it really doesn't know where it came from. That's going backwards.
Check the header, it doesn't show anything.
Exactly. Cookies, you can have them to clear your cookies off. There's child protection software. There's just all kinds of stuff. Okay. Privacy Protection Project. There's a lot of stuff going on to help with protection. This is not on the test, but it is out there. I don't think it ever really took off, so it's not really, they don't do much with it anymore. Okay. This is there, but it's not as big as it used to be. Okay. Okay, key laws. We're going to mention some of these real quick. Fair Credit Reporting Act. I used to have bad credit, and I was a supervisor in the military, and whenever people didn't pay their bills, they had to go to some credit counseling class. So I used to always go with them. Now I have perfect credit. I found out how to clear it. So there's actually ways you can clear up your credit. So kind of
Is that
cool.
a hassle?
No, it's actually very simple. Yeah, just tell them. You know, the whole point of that is, say JCPenney reports that 4 years ago you didn't pay your bill.
Yeah.
What are the odds that if you say that's not true, so the credit bureau contacts JCPenney's, what's the odds that JCPenney's is going to take the time to research data from 4 years ago? They're not going to. So they're not going to respond. So the credit card company is going to just pull it off.
But it took time though, right? Like the credit checking company wasn't like, yeah, we'll do this immediately.
Oh, no, right. It does take a little bit of that, but not long, like a month.
Oh, okay.
I've had like 5 things in dispute for almost 6 years.
Because they have a very short window of time before they have to clear it. Then you can ask them, say, hey, you haven't done anything, so you need to do something, and they'll clear it. So
Every time I call, they're like, oh, well, we'll send you to our tech people, and then I end up talking to somebody in India.
yeah, they shouldn't do
It's
that.
just like-
Because I got all my stuff cleared off. And what the trick is, do 1, maybe 2 at a time. Because if they think, because it's illegal to clear your credit this way. But if they find, if you do one, hey, this didn't happen, they're going to clear it. It's no big deal.
Mine really wasn't even me. I was deployed, and somebody was using my name at a local hospital.
Nice.
And it was just like,
Well, I went to buy a house, and they told me I didn't pay my Zales bill. I was in collections. I'm like, I already gave you my Zales account. It's zero balance. Somebody else had a Zales account. They didn't provide the the social security number, so they picked another kid to do it. It just happened to be me and put it on mine. So I says, no, I only have one Zales account. So I had to go to Zales, find out I've only had one account, and prove it to them to get that removed. But they did it. It was pretty easy. Okay, Privacy Act. If I have a sheet of paper, an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper with social security number on it, what is the required way of disposing of that?
Triple shred?
Tear it in 4 pieces.
Okay.
So what's the odds of taking 11.5 by 8.5 by whatever, an 11 sheet of paper and ripping it in 4 pieces that would even have touched the social security number? 0. That's literally in half and in half, and that's it. That is all that's required to destroy that social security number. Isn't that crazy? That's nothing. So at least just read the damn thing. Okay. Okay, Financial Privacy Act. Bankruptcy, it only stays on there for 7 years, but a lot of stuff is on there. Okay, Personal Privacy Protection Act. Okay. This has been updated somewhat. It says to prevent immediate injury to a victim. It's kind of weird. Electronic Communications Act. This is about telephones and emails, that kind of stuff. Then there's more about the Telecommunications Act, and then here's HIPAA. That's the medical stuff. Okay, we're almost out of time here. It says protects employees who change jobs and want to keep their health insurance, and it's good, but it drives me crazy sometimes. Online Protection Act, what's on there? There's a lot of information about that, and I think that's the last one. Okay, we're not going into big... Oh, Gramm-Leach, that's financial. That's the whole financial issue. Eileen covers all these in the ISM class, in case you're wondering. Okay, there's a bunch of privacy organizations, and that is the end of the lecture.
So ISM during the summer, I'm